these are all of my January reads. Technically, one of these books I read in February, but it was like too good not to mention, and I wanted to talk about it because it was just so good. And then the other one was a book that I started in January, and then I finished it in February because I just like didn't want it to end. But like 96% of these books I read in January. We're gonna talk about them. The bottom half are rereads, and then the top is like the rest of the stuff that I read for January. But the rereads like had a purpose. This is my January stack, and we are going to talk about all of these lovely and wonderful books. I mean, most of them are lovely and wonderful. We are going to start with my rereads because every single one of these rereads had a purpose and I just needed to reread them. So the first is like the Kingdom of the Wicked series. I have the third book currently on my shelf that I want to read, but I wanted to reread to kind of understand like what was going on because it has been so long since I've read these. So I reread these. She wrote a third book, which I have, like I said, and then she wrote this like second book, and I don't know if it's like a sequel or like a spin-off or whatever, but I wanted to like be fully knowledgeable of the universe before I like went back in and then also started her spin-off or whatever that next book is. And then I read Crown of Midnight. I'm I am rereading the Throne of Glass series because of all of the Crescent City that's coming out, and I need to like catch up on Crescent City. But I'm rereading the Throne of Glass series, but just like really slowly because I'm reading it more for enjoyment than like knowledge, because I kind of remember what was going on, but like I don't really. So it's like a knowledge enjoyment read for the most part. And then lastly, I read Percy Jackson the Lightning Thief, the first one, because the show was coming out and I remember loving these books. And so whenever the new covers came out, I was like, okay, I want to buy these. So I reread the first book as the first season of the show was airing on Disney Plus. So those are all of my wonderful rereads for January. Then we have my first time reads for January, and it is a whole hodgepodge of things. So first is the One Dark Window series. I talked about these books in another video, and if you want like an in-depth explanation of these books, I can tell you about it, but I really enjoyed this series. Overall, this entire duology, the Shepherd King duology, is like a 4.5 star series. It was just so good and so different from anything that I had read, and it's very much traditional fantasy with like a subplot of romance, and I really enjoyed them. And I know like a lot of people didn't enjoy them, but I really enjoyed them. And so I've just been telling everybody who like wants a break from the fantasy world that's happening right now in books to read these, because it was just so nice and refreshing to read something that was actually driven by the fantasy plot and not so much by the romance, because the romance was just kind of like a sprinkling in there, whereas like in these books or in other books, romance is like kind of the main driver, but in here it wasn't. So these were really good. I really enjoyed them. Then is Lightlark. I have a lot of opinions about Lightlark. I have a lot of things I could say about Lightlark, and I'm reading Nightbane, and I'm hoping that like Nightbane gives me what I want. Kind of what I said in my other video, that I did like this, and I think for this being like a first book that she's ever written, it's good. Like I think a lot of people are hating because they're comparing it to authors who have written, but like for this being her first book ever written, I thought it was really good. Yeah, there were some things that I thought could change and some things that were added, and I was confused at one point, but then it like kind of came all together at the end. I think that for a first time book as an author, not being an author, just being someone who reads, it was pretty good. And I think that like people should give it a try, especially because I feel like Nightbane is going to be like the redemption arc of this book, and I'm excited to read it. I'm actually reading it right now. Then is Have a Soul. If you need something that is like Bridgerton but also like fantasy mixed in, you should read this book. It was super easy, super fast. I was genuinely shocked about how much I enjoyed this book, and it was something that I just like picked up at Barnes & Noble because I thought the cover was cool, and I actually really liked it. It took me a while to get into like how they were speaking with that kind of like old Englishy Bridgerton-esque dialect, but I really enjoyed it. It was a very interesting premise, and I honestly wish that there were more books like in this series. I know that she has other books, but I don't think it's a continuation of this book. I think that this is just like a standalone, and I know that she has more, but it's just like not about these characters in this book. Then I made the dumb but good choice of reading the first King of Sin book, King of Wrath. I should have finished the Twisted series. I should have, because I completely spoiled Twisted Games because I haven't finished Twisted Games because I was listening to it audibly and it was coming from the library and they returned it. I spoiled it. So now I don't even need to read Twisted Games and I'm really mad about it. So I'm going to finish the Twisted Game series before I start the King of Wrath series, or I'm going to finish the Twisted series before I start the King of Wrath because I did read this and I spoiled it for myself, but like this book was good. It is definitely Anna Huang. I love that all of the books are kind of like tied together in one place, in one timeline, in one setting. Not one setting. In one place, one timeline, one universe. There we go. And I don't know, I genuinely did enjoy this book and it was really easy. It was really quick to get through. I don't know. I'm just mad that I ruined Twisted Games for myself. So I'm gonna finish the Twisted series and then I'm gonna go back into this because I did enjoy it. If you need to uncontrollably sob, this was the book that I read in February. If you need to uncontrollably sob, you need to read this book. I got this book as a gift. I was not knowing what to expect. You read the back and you think you know what's gonna happen and then it didn't and I cried. Sobbed my eyes out. Maybe I'll put the video in of me crying, but I cried so hard over this book. It was nothing like I had ever read in recent years and I think that I want to get more into this like contemporary fiction world. Kind of shocking for me, but it was so good. I uncontrollably sobbed. You kind of know what's going to happen, but then for some reason, I guess I just like wasn't expecting her to actually do it and then she did and I cried. I cried so hard. This book was so good. I loved it. Oh, the Maple Hills series, Wildfire, just like Icebreakers, was fast, easy. You get involved with the characters. You love the characters. You want more. The next book I believe Hannah Grace is writing is about Henry. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's about Henry and I don't know, this is just so easy and so refreshing and I really did love frickin' Aurora and Russ. So cute. I loved Russ in the little like sneak peeks that you got in Icebreakers and I just like love his personality in this book. He's very much golden retriever, but I'm so excited for Henry and I just like Hannah Grace's writing. This series has broken me as an individual. Normally I reread books for a purpose, not just like for funsies, and I'm going to reread these books for funsies. It was whatever crap Miss Stephanie Garber puts into this series, The Ballad of Never After and The Curse of True Love. I ate these books up. I did not finish A Curse of True Love because I did not want this world to end. I didn't want it to end. I loved it so much that I purposefully left it unread because I didn't want it to end. And The Ballad of Never After, I think about this book every single day. Every day I think about this book. It is so good. I love it so much. If you've not read this trilogy, you need to read this trilogy because you need to experience what everybody else goes through, especially The Ballad of Never After. You gotta get through the first book. You gotta get through it. But then this book, oh my god. This book is so good. And I like want to reread it just this book alone because I loved it so much. And The Curse of True Love was like a good way to wrap it up. But like, oh my gosh, this book. Oh my god. I just love this book so much. It was so good. And then, you know, plot twist, things that you didn't expect to happen, they happen. It was just, oh my goodness. I love them. I love them. And then unironically, side note, my boyfriend's mom bought me this little fox and I love this little fox. And it's just, if you know, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, these were all of the books that I read for the most part in January and you should definitely pick up a lot of these books. Pick up these. Pick up Once Upon a Broken Heart series. Pick it up. If you need something different, read In 5 Years if you want to sob. If you just need to like step away from like the current state of fantasy and you want very traditional fantasy with subplots of romance, you need to read Have a Soul and then the Shepherd King duology. Just do it. You'll be fine. You'll like it. But yeah, if you like reading content, let me know. I will post more reading content. I have ideas of things that I want to do for reading content, but I know that like not everybody's into reading and like that's not, I like watch reading. I like watching reading content, but I also like watching other content. So I'm going to do a nice little mix of both of those things. But if you like reading content, I will keep doing it. If you don't, then like no worries, I'm gonna post other stuff. But if you want to see me read something or you have like a suggestion of a book that I need to read and you want like a reaction the whole time, let me know. I will do it. But yeah, I hope that you pick up one of these books. I hope that I see you in my next video, and if not, then I'll see you somewhere else in this universe. Okay, bye.